Hi, I'm Mark Dayton, and today I'd like to share with you one of the foundational principles to the new book, 5 Keys to Unlocking the Gift in the Wound. This principle is called paradox. Now, while it's not one of the 5 keys, it is a foundational principle that's very important that we understand and that we master to make the other keys functional and more effective in helping us unlock those gifts that are bound up in our wounds. Paradox, very simply, is 2 opposing ideas that don't have any apparent way of being reconciled. And so it's one of these either-or kind of statements. It's either this or it's that. So a paradox is always characterized by or. It has to be this or it has to be that. And as human beings, we have a really hard time keeping in our minds a paradox. We want to resolve that. We want to figure out how this can be and how it can be resolved. The resolution to a paradox always is very simply finding and. Rather than either or, we find an and. A classic example that's in the book that Brad shared is the case of Jesus Christ, when one time the Pharisees came to him and said, "Who should we give honor to, God or to Caesar?" And Jesus called for a coin, and he held up the coin and said, "Whose inscription is on the coin?" And they said, "Caesar's." And Jesus said, "Then render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and unto God what is God's." You heard the word there, and. That resolved the paradox. Going from either or to and always resolves the paradox. Now, usually that requires us to come to a higher level of understanding, higher consciousness, or higher awareness of the situations that we're dealing with, so that we can come to an and rather than an either or. Let me give you an example from my own experience, and that is included in the book as well. So there was a situation where professionally I had worked very long and hard on a project with a partner, and at the last minute he basically stabbed me in the back. He took everything and ran and left me with nothing. And this was very, very painful for me for a long, long time. And I had a hard time dealing and reconciling this. And the paradox in my mind was this. So this person had done something really awful and really terrible to me, and my culture and my upbringing tells me that I'm supposed to forgive him. And there was no way that he was going to admit that he had done anything wrong. There was no way that he was going to say he was sorry, any of that. So I'm left with this paradox of either he apologizes because he was wrong, or I'm supposed to forgive him when he doesn't deserve to be forgiven. The resolution of the paradox came in this wonderfully simple, higher way of thinking about this problem. That is this: we forgive others not because they deserve to be forgiven, but because we love ourselves so much, we don't want to keep paying for the injustice. To me, that was a brilliant new insight that I had not considered before. The paradox was resolved. He was a bad person, he did something bad, and I can forgive him because I don't want to keep carrying the pain of that incident and what happened to me. So, paradox is crucial for us to be able to think through and resolve these things and move from either or to and, so that we can turn some of these keys, particularly key number 2, which is victory over victim. Getting out of victim is really important and very difficult if we can't resolve these paradoxes in our lives. Also, key number 4, I love me, which includes forgiveness, which includes gratitude. Very difficult to turn those keys without being able to resolve some of these paradoxes that are a part of everybody's lives. So I invite you to consider moving from or to and, to resolving those paradoxes. And look in the book, look in 5 Keys to Unlocking the Gift in the Wound, and you'll discover more ideas and more tools on how you can resolve your paradoxes and raise your level of consciousness and thinking. Thank you.